All right. Welcome to the site today. What are we doing today? We're going to be doing something that I near and dear to my heart, which is alternative articulations. And I think a lot of times when we are thinking about, for example, strings, we've got a pretty sort of straightforward way of looking at strings. A lot of people do anyways. I don't. I always use alternative articulations whenever I can. So let's take violas, for example, and we're just going to use a preset. Maybe not that preset. Let's get out of here. Too many presets. Let's load this one in. There we go. So we have kind of a standard legato. And of course, when we're using these, let's kind of make them sound a little bit nicer by adding some space in there. So we'll go into Vienna Mir Pro, and we'll get these to behave a little bit more realistically. So again, kind of standard. There's nothing to see here, sort of legato. However, I think a lot of folks, when they're composing, they should think about maybe going into different types of presets. And so we're going to look at the different presets that we have. And there's lots of different ones. We have I'm trying to find one here. Here we go. Sorry it took so long. Harmonics. And these are very, very interesting types of string articulation. So that's one. So we have harmonics up there, and we're going to label that harmonics. Boy, I can't spell today. It's okay. It's okay. All right, so we have harmonics as being one. And let's duplicate this, and we're going to go back into here, and we're going to actually get rid of all of these. And we're going to find some more articulations. And this time, we're going to go into the patch area, string patches, and we're going to find violins. And we're going to find, let's see what we have here. We have dynamics, harmonics, Ponticelli, performance interval. Let's see what we have. Where is it? Somewhere around. Bunch of different harmonics, short, long notes. Here we go. So we have flautando, which is just another great string articulation. And you put these together, it's a really interesting timbre that you can really work on building with that. And, again, mixing these so there may be a little bit more etherealness to them is also another great way of sort of dealing with that. And so one of the things I always like to do is if I'm using this particular reverberation planet, I'll use the foyer, because the foyer is really... that really adds a lot. Now, that's just one subsection of what we're doing in terms of alternativeness. There's some also great Spitfire ensembles that I use all the time, especially if I'm writing something that requires a lot of atmosphere. And this Spitfire instrument that I like using is, again, called the, let's see, it is called the Textures. And again, this is LCO. Again, modally expressed in Dorian. Ah, that's interesting. We have a little bit of a sustain. There we go. That's better. Let's figure out what's going on up here. Ah, I see we have a lot of key switching set up. So let's get out of the key switching modality because that can kind of throw things off, especially if we're playing multi-timbral instruments. We're going to actually pull that back in terms of violas, and this time we're going to look at harmonics. And we're just going to load a sustain harmonic in here. So we have this now. And we're not triggering that, so let's figure out why. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, let's turn it on. There we go. And this is a powerful, very powerful template to use. And so, you know, in the spirit of just improvising and sketching, you know, a lot of those really great atmospheric cues that you hear aren't actually that complicated to write. It's just basically a pedal tone, you know. There's nothing that complex with that. And then adding here, for example, taking this contact player idea and then really creating some alternative, you know, some additional line here. And, you know, we're going to get rid of the LCO now, and we're going to go into maybe some Joshua Bell Embertone stuff. Again, it's not just one sample library. Any professional film composer out there would be kind of insane to just recommend one library. It's always a mixture of different things. So that's something always to think about. You know, the whole one library thing is just, it's not the solution. You know, and really sort of getting in there and finding some things that are interesting, you know. And then using, again, alternative reverbs to express this. And then doing some rubato writing, you know. really sort of getting your way around. And playing with these ideas, but again, we don't have any, with the exception of the solo violin, we don't have any real standard articulations, or we have less standard articulations. But these less standard articulations actually give you a lot of flexibility in terms of timbre, And while we're here, we're going to do one more. We're going to add one more friend. All right. We're going to go back into here. We're going to use another really great... Oh, it's already here. That's kind of funny. We're going to use the Byzantar, which, again, is an 8-dio instrument. And again, the Byzantar has such a great sound to it. And we have got the same Valhalla reverb. It's got those great sort of notes. And you add all that together. Now, let's go back to the LCO, because the LCO is a lot of fun, especially when we use the Evo grid. And you can, this sort of, these are the Spitfire instruments that I really love because they're unusual and they add a lot of just timbre to things. So we'll kind of isolate that here in the mix, and we'll just kind of play that particular sample. It's unusual. That's just cymbals and, but when you add that together with the first two string ideas, almost a very kind of Eastern or medieval quality. I don't know. But then you add it in with everything else that we've got going on. Especially in the low end. Now, in this situation where we have a drone, a pedal drone, this is a great bed. And maybe I'll do another video where I'm improvising with a real instrument, not a MIDI instrument, playing wind instruments, for example, over a bed like this. So, this, of course, I'm going to record this bed. And that bed there, that bed track, the flute, Duduk, for example, if I was playing Duduk, I would play it over this. And this is, to me, much more, this is more interesting than, just say, a synth bed, for example. It's a little harsh. Take that out of the mix. Whatever you're doing, you can come up with some other really interesting sort of timbral ideas. And I know a lot of this page, a lot of my YouTube examples as of late have been this kind of like really rubato kind of writing. And it's a lot of, it's where I'm at right now. And, specifically, last summer I was writing a lot of very deliberate music for things. Very specific sort of film score stuff. And this, this kind of in a slow period, I'm sort of doing just more of this ethereal stuff just because I love it so much. And that sounds like, where is that coming from? What is that sound? And so that's what I really love about working in this particular modality. So that's our video for today. Like and/or subscribe, please.